Hey everyone, this is Zephyr, and welcome to the BaileyWiki channel, where we teach everyday DMs how to create truly amazing experiences for their players by combining art and technology. We also make modular systems and scenes for FoundryVTT that you can use without any setup, some of which will be the backdrop for today's very special video about Foundry's 5th anniversary celebration. This May is marking the 5th year since Foundry's public release in 2020, and a huge congratulations to FoundryVTT, the whole team, and this amazing community. We've had the privilege to be a part of the community for most of those 5 years, and there is a lot to celebrate this year with the 5th anniversary, and there's a lot going on within the community and at Foundry HQ. So we're going to summarize some of the things going on, and we're also going to dive into the v14 Patreon poll that has opened up, and we're going to have a little bit more in-depth discussion on that later on in the video. The anniversary celebration is one of the few sale opportunities of the year for Foundry, and this year is no exception. You can pick up FoundryVTT license keys for 20% off, so if you are looking to pick up Foundry for the very first time, get it as a gift for the DM in your life, or pick up additional copies for yourself to run multiple instances at the same time, there are few better opportunities than this. Foundry licenses typically only go on sale during the anniversary and around Black Friday. Additionally, just about everything in the new FoundryVTT marketplace is on sale as well, so be sure to check that out too, as there are a lot of great deals on official content, including the Foundry team's very own The Demon Queen Awakens and House Divided modules. All of these sales are going to continue from now until May 31st. You can double check on the website for the exact time those ends. Further, a bunch of different creators are also offering specials and discounts on their FoundryVTT content. And for our part here at BaileyWiki, for the duration of the anniversary event and for at least the first week after the event concludes, we'll be including access to our 3D Foundry module for anyone who subscribes to our Foundry content on Patreon. So if you support us on Patreon and you subscribe to any of the tiers that offer any FoundryVTT content, you'll also have access to the 3D module until the first week after the anniversary event concludes. As we mentioned earlier, there are a ton of events going on for the anniversary celebration, and you can view the full schedule and breakdown of everything with links to all of the important places on the FoundryVTT website. Many of these events are live streamed, so be sure to tune in for some of those. And some special highlights we want to bring up is, again, that Patreon version 14 feature vote that we'll go into more detail a little bit later on. And then some stuff that we're particularly interested in checking out is the Year in Review article that is due to launch on Monday. This usually has some pretty interesting insights. For example, last year we saw all kinds of statistics about systems and modules being installed, and learned that there's at least one crazy user who has over 2,000 modules installed in Foundry. We're also very curious to check out the Let's Die live stream, as the Foundry crew is going to start their stream and end when they all end up kicking the bucket in Tomb of Annihilation. So that should be pretty entertaining and interesting. There's also a Reddit AMA with the FoundryVTT team next Wednesday. So be sure to check out the website for all of the details on these events and more. They're all incredibly exciting, and it's a wonderful time to be involved in the community. Speaking of being involved in the community, now is a great time to make your voice heard on what features you'd like to see prioritized for v14. The poll just opened this morning. In fact, we just got the blog post that tells us what the options on the poll even are this morning, and is going to continue to run until 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday, June 5th. So you have a few weeks to review your options, discuss in the Foundry Discord in their v14 feature poll channel, and cast your vote. Important to note with all of the feature prioritization polls is that this is a prioritization poll. The ethos of the Foundry team is that all of these features will eventually become a part of Core Foundry. It's just a matter of which comes first. Additionally, these are always coupled with announcements of the kind of guaranteed planned features that are being brought in, and those can be very exciting as well. For example, we got the huge news that scene levels are going to be coming to Core Foundry in v14. This is relatively unsurprising given the success of the Ember Kickstarter and the touted multi-level scene feature that is supposed to be delivered with Ember itself. So no surprise there that it's going to come to Core Foundry, and we may not need to use the levels module to create these multi-level scenes anymore. It'll be interesting to see how the Foundry team decides to handle this implementation. There's also going to be some improved scene management tools, maybe similar to something like tile sort, where you have a list on the side of all the different assets on your scene to be able to navigate to those and select them nice and easily. And of course, there are the always increasing infrastructure improvements to look forward to as well. So that's all that we know is coming in v14. Let's go ahead and start discussing what might be coming in v14. We're going to go through all of the different poll options and discuss what gets us excited about them and some of the potential impacts that bringing these features into Core might have. These also have varying levels of kind of mockups or module-created facsimiles that will be showing off as well while we discuss. All of this footage showing off these theoretical features should be taken as theory behind how these might be done. We really don't know exactly how the Foundry team will handle it. You can review all of the poll options on the blog post that we'll have linked down in the description as well. So with that, we'll go ahead and dive in. The first poll option is Advanced Measured Templates. This promises a way for the measured templates to provide automated behaviors similar to scene regions and some other aspects, including targeting, etc., as well as provide a framework for templates to be attached to physical tokens and moved around with them. So we may see this replace some of the features of automation modules that handle targeting with templates, and also things like active auras, etc. On the presentation side of things, this also promises to bring some special effects like being able to apply animations and video textures for template fills. So it could also end up making your templates not only smarter, but prettier too. The next poll option is one that we are particularly excited about, and we were really excited about this when it was up for the v13 vote, and this time is no different. It's document tags and improved search. Basically, this would allow us to add any number of structured tags to different documents within Foundry. This might not sound super sexy to begin with, but it would help us to expand and possibly even replace some of the features from modules like Tagger that allow us to manipulate and affect several entities at once. It would also give us some really powerful search abilities, like being able to look through all of the documents in all of our compendium packs and search by tags rather than just by titles, kind of like we can do with Mass Edit. This one is particularly exciting to us as module developers and content creators because it opens up a lot of really cool doors in the community development and module space. It particularly helps address some headaches that exist with using IDs, etc., across worlds, compendiums, and users. An advanced drawing tool option is also on the table, and this would give us a whole lot more control over drawings, like being able to adjust drop shadow, separation with strokes, fill settings, and a whole lot more. So we could have some really cool abilities with the drawings. Kind of similar to how the advanced drawing module works now that gives us some extra line styles and other features similar to this. But what's exciting here is that this would probably mean some greater development in the back end that would allow module developers to expand this even further. There's also some stretch goals of being able to use kind of a tile combiner or having private drawings so that people can annotate things individually, etc. So some pretty interesting capabilities here should improve drawing tools win the day. The next poll option is for some improved vision and detection modes. This is a pretty interesting feature suite that promises to kind of separate vision from detection, allowing you to toggle between different methods of vision and detection, and also kind of combine them in different ways, like being able to interact with light and darkness sources slightly differently, and have some other aspects and creating these vision ranges that are a little bit more dynamic and interesting. This would certainly help a lot of the different game systems within the Foundry ecosystem that have some pretty complex vision rules that are harder to handle with Foundry's current setup for vision range. And another common feature request that has had many a module made dedicated to it is manual fog of war. This feature is fairly self-explanatory by providing GMs tools to draw in areas that will become hidden in the fog of war or revealed from the fog of war, as well as some mechanisms to share that exploration across players, and some kind of hybrid model where you can use both the dynamic revealing of fog of war that we have now, and a little bit of the manual fog of war exploration too. Some of the stretch goals get really interesting here, where we might have movement restrictions based on fog of war, or adding things to scene regions to reveal stuff, or adding additional effects to the areas that are specifically unexplored. So some interesting capabilities there. Next up, there are placeable items on the pole. This would essentially create a new kind of entity. As the Foundry team has put it, this would kind of be to items as tokens are to actors. So you'd be able to drag out an item or possibly a container onto your scene, and then your players would be able to interact with it, picking it up, etc. After placeable items are pop-out windows. This is very similar to the popular pop-out module that allows you to pop out just about any window in Foundry into a separate browser window so that you can have it on another screen, move it out of the way, or just keep it nice and tidy away from everything else. There's also some interesting implications that might come in the stretch goals, like being able to create a separate player view of Foundry as a GM without having to create a proxy player to work with. So some interesting possibilities there, and a pretty great quality of life feature for people with multiple monitors. The final option on the feature poll is special effects regions. This was on the v13 poll, and it got us excited then, and it still gets us excited now. This would be an expansion of the region system that was brought in v12. Some of the use cases that they outline are creating footstep-specific areas, where as you step, you hear certain types of footsteps based upon the material specified, and some visual aspects, such as fire, smoke, etc., so that you could create some of the really cool animated effects that we have available in the lighting tools in Foundry without actually affecting the light level of the scene, and you don't have to get all crazy with using walls to segregate it off, like with the lava or the grid we've got going on here. We are excited about any kind of expansion to the region system, as it also usually gives a lot of tools for module developers to play with and things to hook into. So this has us particularly excited as well. And so that's all of the options for the feature prioritization poll. Let us know in the comments what of these get you really excited, and of course chime in on the FoundryVTT Discord in their version 14 feature poll discussion channel, and absolutely make your voice heard on the FoundryVTT Patreon if you are a supporter. And for those of you who are getting some kind of feature or update whiplash, don't worry, we're voting on these features for v14, but a test release, not even a stable release, is probably 6 months or more out. So it's not like you're going to have to update to v14 anytime soon. You can rest easy on that score. And that's going to conclude our coverage of the Foundry 5-year anniversary this year. It's a huge celebration for an amazing platform, an amazing team, and an amazing community that we've been very honored to be a part of for these past few years. Truly, hats off to the Foundry team and to all of you in the community who have made this place such a welcoming one. Definitely check out the event schedule on the FoundryVTT website. We've got that linked in the description. And if you are able to, I highly recommend you pop by at least a few of the live streams. The Foundry team are all really great people, and it's a pretty fun time in those live streams whenever they happen. And again, if you are a patron of FoundryVTT, make sure to make your voice heard in the v14 feature poll, and you can read about all of the options in the blog post, also linked down below. And with that, this has been Zephyr with the BaileyWiki channel. If you enjoyed the video, then subscribe to keep up with all of our latest content and consider becoming a patron. Not only do you support the channel, but you also gain access to all the modular systems and scenes that we've made for FoundryVTT, like the ones you saw in the background here today. And again, for the duration of the Foundry anniversary event and for at least the next week after, we will be including access to our 3D module for all of our supporters who subscribe for any of our Foundry VTT content. So again, it's been Zephyr with the BaileyWiki channel. Thank you so much for watching, happy gaming, and have a good one.